Hey guys, thanks for joining me for a new video. Today I want to talk about a question that I see pretty often in YouTube comments and in my Facebook groups for print on demand. And it's a common question for a good reason. It's something that a lot of people want to know the answer to because they stand to gain and stand to benefit from understanding it. And that is, why do certain products rank ahead of other products? For instance, we might be selling on Amazon. Honestly, what I'm going to talk about extends to pretty much all the major e-commerce marketplaces because they all behind the scenes, their algorithms are pretty similar. But you can have the same product basically with a very similar design, similar keywords, but ultimately one has to outrank the other and another has to outrank that one and another has to outrank that one until you get to the very top. So I'm going to talk about what factors in to which listings rank at the top of page one. All right, so real quick, before we dive into things, let me introduce myself for the new viewers. I'm Ryan Hogue. I've sold over $1.8 million on Amazon to date, including $260K through Amazon merch. I've got a print on demand giveaway that I run each week. If you'd like to enter, it's completely free. Use the link in the description. Right next to that link, I've got a link to a free Amazon merch mini course delivered to your inbox over 7 days. All I need is your email address. And I've got an Amazon merch Facebook community on Facebook. I'd love to have you there. All right, let's dive into the topic. Why does one of these shirts, look how similar they look. They both have the Tide logo. Most customers would be happy probably with either shirt, but ultimately at the end of the day, one has to outrank the other. Now, obviously there's a bunch of additional factors. There's things like price, maybe price factors in. There's things like how close of a match keywords wise, how close of a match are your keywords to what the customer searched? Okay, all those things definitely factor in. You want to get as close to an exact string match, as in a string of keywords that someone enters. You want to get as close to an exact string match as possible, which is why your keyword selection and the order you put them in, for instance, your title, which carries the most weight, can really affect your sales either positively or negatively. But obviously, there's a lot of asterisks here. There's a lot of buts that I'm going to go over in this video. But right now I'm talking about top priority, and that is that your keywords need to be really good in the title for one, and you want to get as close to an exact match on what someone's searching for as well in your title. And I always recommend doing repetition in the title, the brand, and the bullet points. Merch Informer ran a case study a couple years back, and they did some split testing, and they saw that most of the time the products that had the repetition tended to outrank the ones that didn't. So that's one little note there. But also, the main thing that is really going to affect where you rank relative to other very similar products is, can you guys guess? That's right, sales history. Do you have a history of converting customers that typed in those keywords already on Amazon before this new potential customer did? And when the other people that came earlier typed in those keywords, did they click your listing from search results or did they click somebody else's? So how high is the CTR, the click-through rate? From there, what is the conversion rate? What percentage of people that reached your product listing added to cart and checked out? All of these things are being tracked because that's part of the internet. You know, I was a front-end web developer for 8 years, so I understand how to do this stuff, and it's honestly not that crazy. It's not that complicated. And it's easy to do at scale too. If you have good analytics tracking software, for instance, Google Analytics, you know, you copy paste a piece of JavaScript and then it does all of this for you automatically, and then it makes a bunch of the data available to you in a nice, easy to read interface. And what do you do from there? Well, you act on that information that you've collected over time. If you make good decisions, you should be able to increase the amount of money that you collect through your platform. This is, again, the web developer perspective. Like, on Amazon, we're not writing the code, we're not writing these algorithms, but if it was our own like Shopify store, think about when we browse the internet. It doesn't matter what web page you go to. Most web pages, you can scroll vertically, and that content that loads at the top of the page, they call that above the fold. That's what gets the most eyeballs on it. That's the most valuable real estate on the page. So whatever products you show at the top, the ones that you don't have to scroll to see, those have the highest likelihood of getting clicked, and you can't get a sale unless somebody clicks you from search results. So that's, you know, I always emphasize that. Like, you have to really give yourself the best chance you can to get clicked in search results. By the way, if you're not on page 1, you know, they always say that's the best place to hide a dead body, on page 2+ of search results online. So you need to be on page 1, which again, in some cases can be easier said than done. I'll show you some examples, but in this case, we need to be on page 1 near the top. Having sales history will certainly help. And if you're entering a niche that has a lot of incumbents, especially incumbents with sales history, you're going to have a really tough time organically getting any exposure on page 1 on the primary keywords. This is where keyword strategy tends to factor in. But obviously, you know, I showed you 2 pictures of this vote niche, but there's plenty of examples of them on Amazon. One thing that's worth pointing out here is the one on the left-hand side there with a 10,419 BSR doesn't even show up in the next 2 rows on the screenshot that I took. But the reason for that is, and this is where keywords matter, that shirt is called Anti-Trump Vote Detergent Funny Vintage T-shirt. And on this search results that I showed you here, the screenshot, I searched for vote remove stubborn orange stains. So notice that even though this shirt on the left-hand side is crushing the sales relative to all the other ones pictured, it has a much lower BSR because it's probably getting most of its sales from being indexed on anti-Trump vote, if I had to guess. That's why when you look at the vote remove stubborn orange stains, and I guess I didn't picture the BSRs here, that was my mistake, but the BSRs of all of these are higher than, like significantly higher, as in like they're in the 100K range or higher than the 10,000 that you see here on the left-hand side. So your keyword selection really does matter, but also selecting keywords like anti-Trump vote, obviously, it's a function of competition. That's going to have a ton of competition. Typically, the more money there is to be made, the more competition that you'll have on those keywords. So that's worth pointing out. But if you're wondering like, Ryan, I'm going to enter this vote remove stubborn orange stains niches, why am I not getting as many sales as everybody else? Well, the short answer is that they've been there for a while. There's only 48 listings on page 1 of search results. And if there's 48 shirts that have like 50 plus reviews, you can bet that they're probably going to outrank you. And if you're not on page 1 on those keywords, you either need to come up with other related keywords that are less competitive but still relevant to your niche, or just find a different niche. Or if you're headstrong and you don't want to find another niche, you want to buy your way into a competitive niche, you can run ads. And by the way, if we're talking Amazon merch here and you're thinking, how do we advertise? Well, they are rolling out access to Amazon merch AMS integration again. Like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, they did invite codes. And if you missed your chance, you were just out of luck. But now I don't know what criteria they're using. But for instance, I got access to the merch and AMS integration on my account at some point in the last month, just so you guys know. But with ads, you can buy your way to the top of search results like you see done right there in that headline search ad, also known as sponsored brand ad. You can also run sponsored product ads, and you can show up in that first spot in the, you know, organic looking search results that we're used to seeing on Amazon, because you don't always see the top of search ads, you know, sponsored brand ads, but we are used to seeing sponsored product ads right there. Also, they've been rolling out this other formatted ad here where it's like animated. I don't know if there's like a video requirement or what. I've never run that type of ad. However, they have been popping up more and more. Oh, what does this have to do with anything? Bicycles. No, what I wanted to talk about was cycling products. Amazon merch's search results are not set in stone. They do seem to cycle products that maybe have sales history and haven't gotten a sale in a while, or even give new submissions a chance. Again, this isn't written in stone, but it's just something that if you keep an eye out for, meaning like use DS Amazon Quick View so you can see the BSRs of products, and you may, you know, there may be some instances where you're like, why are they ranked in this order? That's a little weird. For instance, I typed in 45 squared, which is like a pro-Trump t-shirt niche. And the first row of shirts had 1.6 million BSR, 78,000 BSR, 1 million, 1.5 million BSR. But on the second row, the first product has a 13,000 BSR. And notice the keyword match. I typed in 45 squared, and the first 2 keywords in the title of that listing that has the most sales and 772 reviews and perfect 5-star rating, it has a BSR of 13.2K, which is completely counterintuitive for it not to be the first product in search results in that first slot. So all I'm really trying to say here is it's not set in stone, and you could perform these searches multiple times and get a different set of results each time. However, they're always going to favor, the majority of the time, the products that do have the sales history, that have the high click-through rates and the high conversion rates. Because keep in mind, whether it's Amazon Merch or Amazon Seller Central listings, they make money when we make money through their referral fees. So there is a chance. Don't give up hope. But another caveat, there's always a but. When you're doing your keyword research, always check the number of results. Now, Amazon used to give us more accurate results numbers, and at some point, really in like early 2020, maybe late 2019, I'm getting the years confused. It's all starting to blur together now. But then they started to hide the real numbers. So you could search the same terms and see over 2,000 results, and then search it again and see over 10,000 results. So it's not always a perfect science, but as a rule of thumb, if you see it right there, 1 through 48, right? So they're saying up to 48 listings on this page, over 2,000 results. So do I need to do the math? 2,000 divided by 48 to see how many pages of results? Plus, it's not 2,000, it's over 2,000, which to me means it's probably, in this case, I put pro Trump. There's probably 100,000 t-shirts for indexed on pro Trump. So their algorithm has to somehow figure out which ones do we rank. And in the case of keyword research, what's more likely? Are you going to get sales by trying to get indexed on pro Trump, where you've got over 2,000 results to deal with, and he's been president for 4 years, so you've got, and he's been running for president, since before then, so you've got all those incumbents with sales history to compete with? Or do you have a better chance if you typed in a sub niche of pro Trump, like 45 squared, where you see 110 results? Let me guess. Yeah, the 45 squared, you probably have a much better chance. So you really got to kind of, I don't know if I should call it playing the game. You got to play the game, or just be strategic, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call this. Like, you have to be strategic. You have to make informed decisions. Don't just throw up another, don't throw up the 50,000th pro Trump shirt and expect to get any visibility at all whatsoever. Because if you're on page 2+, the likelihood of you even getting seen on those keywords with over 2,000 results is low. However, like I always say, there's sub-niche potential. Go find a good sub-niche, and if there's less results, you can start getting, because you never know, someone might search pro Trump 45 squared, and if you get that partial string match on 45 squared, and then they rank your shirt and you get clicked and you get a sale, well, you didn't just get the sale on 45 squared, you got the sale on pro Trump 45 squared. So now the algorithm has learned that a customer who typed in pro Trump 45 squared, so both sets of keywords, which is going to view as one set of keywords, but they get the partial string match concept in programming. That's pretty general concept. So you've increased the likelihood now of ranking a little bit higher on pro Trump and Trump 45 squared and 45 squared. You get it? So hopefully that all made some sense. I just wanted to talk about it since I've seen that come up in questions and whatnot. By the way, before I head out, just wanted to let you guys know that made it till the end. I have an Amazon merch course, over 80 lectures, a full knowledge transfer covering everything I've learned from tier 10 to tier 100,000, including, if you guys get access to advertising, full advertising tutorials, not just generic, boring tutorials, but like you guys know how I go about my business. It's not just generic stuff. It's very intent, like it's strategic. It's everything is done for a reason. So if you want a good advertising tutorial, in addition to 70 something other lectures that'll help you with Amazon merch, check it out. There's a link in the description. Thanks for watching till the end, guys. Appreciate your time. If you want to do me a really quick favor, hit that like button. That would be really appreciated. And I know most of you guys are probably subscribed, but if you're not and you want to hit that big red button, I would also love to have you here. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon.
Passive Income School is open. Enroll now at ryansmethod.com. Thank you.